Good evening. So, hello. Yes, there was no alarm because I didn't set one again, but it's 11 o'clock, so we good. Welcome, Odd. Today is Volume 14 of the Hiveswap Friendsim with Marsti and what's this? A name you might not recognize. Karako Piero. Which is the name of who dis? Who is this? The little juggalo child from the troll call. Yeah, which is I would not consider it a spoiler because they don't make it a big reveal when you play his route. It's just flat up displayed on the character select screen. So, ta-da! That's what we're in for today. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week so far. I got a whole bunch of shit to do, but time to take a couple hours, chill the fuck out, and do this Friendsim stuff. So, there was one thing I did mention this in Homestuck streams before. Homestuck streams, which by the way are officially finished. What? We're starting streaming of Hiveswap Act 1 on weekends now that Homestuck is officially done exactly 1 year after it was started. That was a very large undertaking. We made it, and now it's time to do Hiveswap Act 1, which I have been replaying and doing a little bit of clicky research on to refresh my brain because I have not played it since it came out, basically. So I'm replaying it to refresh my brain on all the puzzle solutions, all the places that need to be clicked on. I'm clicking on new things still, even like things that I didn't even realize you were supposed to click on. Whoops. So I'm doing that now so that I get the full experience for stream, so it's all good. Yeah, so that's exciting. That's starting this Friday. But yes, this is something that I did mention on Homestuck streams already, but I just want to mention it again because it is more relevant to Hiveswap. Perfectly Generic Podcast, interview with James Roach. I think they're doing pretty great stuff overall, but even if you don't listen to any of the other stuff that they're doing, I implore you to listen to this. Speaking of which, let me just real quick, I'm just gonna paste that link into a Word document so that I remember to link it, and I don't have to try and remember what I need to link for the YouTube video description, because again, I keep forgetting to mention this at all in the video or in the description, top of the description, anything like that. Any links that are mentioned during the course of the stream are going to be also placed down below in the YouTube description. So if you want to look something up that was talked about, it's down there. And that's with all of the archive streams. So if you think, oh, we talked about that thing like a month ago, check the description of that video. It might just be there. Okay. So that is pasted in the document now. Cool. Halloween movie night. Nice. Oh, that's right. It's Halloween weekend. Yeah. Fuck, that's true. God, Halloween is happening. Well, have fun. I hope that you have a good time. It sounds like a hella good time. Alright. So, so back over here we go, and you'll see that I had a bunch of other tabs open because I do have a couple other points of discussion, points of reference that are going to come up later because look, y'all, they're really pulling at all the fucking stops for, you know, like, we are hitting the fucking climax of this plot line, and shit's going wild. Okay, it's gonna be good shit today. Oh, right, I should probably take that off the stream. So, I am going to cross my fingers again and hope that that's not the right window. That's also not the right window. Fuck. Okay, there's Steam. Oh, God. I don't know what it is about the Friendsim that makes it not want to show up in game capture display. But it doesn't. Okay, the game is open. Oh, what the fuck's my computer doing over here? Norton's giving me some notifications for some shit. And please, please, please. It worked! Oh my god, it worked! Yes, we have full screen. I did not fiddle with any of the fucking settings. I don't know why. It just works sometimes and doesn't other times. Like, I don't know. Maybe something updated in the game when I added volume 14 to it, and now the full screen mode is working. Either way, I am peachy keen pleased that full screen mode is working again, because it really fucking annoys me when I have to use full display capture for a great variety of reasons. But yeah, we are good. We are set to go. So if anyone would like to cast a vote in the chat as to whether we do Marsti or Karako first, toss your opinions in the thing. Games be like that. Yeah, I know, it's fucking annoying. I'm so nervous that Hiveswap isn't going to show up in game capture mode. I really hope it fucking works properly. I've been meaning to test that beforehand, but y'all, life just keeps happening. Life just keeps happening, okay? Sneak Cat! Welcome, Sneak Cat. Hello. We are about to get started. Toss into the chat your vote, Marsti Hutek or Karako Piero, our little kid juggalo friend. Okay, down and down we go. Look at all these beautiful faces, and volume 14 of Cleanliness and Clownliness. Karako? Okay, cool. And but it's food. Okay, that's fair. You want to do Karako last. Okay. If no one else jumps in for a vote as to who to do first, I will do another coin flip. Or not coin flip. I don't know, object flip, whatever the fuck I have around me. Oh, I have a pack of gum. I'm gonna flip that pack of gum. You have seen posts of him and he is your son. Yes. Karako is quite wonderful. Okay. This is a dark world. Both because it's night and because of the brutal struggle for survival among its polyhemochromatic inhabitants, many of whom seem to thrive on havoc and carnage. You'd be interested to see the Michelin guide entry for Alternia. I've been meaning to Google what that is. I feel like I know what that is, but it's Michelin guide. Wait a second, is this a fucking restaurant guide? What? Series of guidebooks published by French tire company Michelin for more than a century. Okay, cool. The term normally refers to the annually published Michelin Red Guide, the oldest European hotel and restaurant reference guide, which awards up to 3 Michelin stars for each for excellence to a select few establishments. Okay. So it's like a travel guide. Legs getting... I don't know what the fuck has been up with my internet lately, but the past, like, 4 or 5 streams have just been, like, garbage stream health. So we get unfortunate stuff like, it looks like in chat you were about to describe the Michelin Guide, and I was already, like, leagues ahead of you Googling it because of the lag in the stream. Ugh. But yeah, no, that Michelin Guide entry for Alternia, that would be quite a thing to witness, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, this part I'm kind of like side-eyeing a little bit. You're convinced that after a day here, Ayn Rand would sign up with the Little Sisters of the Poor, Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun would join the Quakers, and Adolf Hitler would seek membership with the World Peace Council. So, I don't know. I feel like that's poking a bear a little bit there with those comparisons, but okay. Whew. Godwin's Law alert. Feeling a little dramatic tonight. Oh, look, another thing I meant to Google. Godwin's Law. I don't know if you can hear me typing on my laptop because it's over there. Over there. You can't see where I'm pointing. It's nearby, but it's not as close as my, like, computer keyboard, which I know you can sometimes hear me when I'm typing on it. Oh. Okay, Godwin's Law, or Godwin's Rule of Hitler Analogies, is an internet adage asserted that, as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of a comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches 1. And that is, if an online discussion, regardless of topic or scope, goes on long enough, sooner or later someone will compare someone or something to Adolf Hitler or his deeds, the point at which effectively discussion or thread often ends. Promulgated by the American attorney and author Mike Godwin in 1990, Godwin's Law originally referred to, or specifically to, Usenet newsgroup discussions, now applied to any threaded online discussions such as internet forums, chat rooms, and comment threads, as well as to speeches, articles, and other rhetoric where reductio ad Hitlerum occurs. Good God. Okay, I get the joke now. Never mind. Yeah, that's another one that, like Michelin Guide, I was fairly certain I'd heard before and once knew what it meant, but it just wasn't clicking. But I get the joke now. Okay. Redact my previous comments. They were making a joke about Godwin's Law. Got it. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, unfortunately, it is true. It is absolutely true that the longer a fucking online discourse conversation goes on, like, the more likely it is that someone's gonna be like, make a fucking Holocaust analogy. Jeez. Alright, here we are. I don't believe there's been consensus in the chat as to whether or not we should do Karako first or Marsti first. We have 1 vote for Karako first, 1 vote specifically for Karako last. You saw him and screamed. I know, he's such a cutie pie. Look at his face when you put the cursor on top of his card. Oh my god, he's so cute. Marsti, though, you get this sly little smirk. Ooh, she is something. Y'all will see. Probably timeless. Welcome to the stream. Yes, baby boy. Do you have a vote? Do you have a tiebreaker? Probably timeless, because we're stuck between doing Karako first and Karako last. We have 1 vote for either one. If you could be our lovely tiebreaker with your opinion, I would appreciate it very much, because I always feel bad when I have to do the coin flip thing. Because I just want to give the people what they want. I'll give that a minute see if you give some feedback, because stream lag is wild today. In the meantime, I'll just kind of babble a little bit. But yeah, you love her? Oh, you will. She is something, all right. I don't want to say anything that will spoil her route, but I think that you will also really enjoy her personality, her attitude. I don't know how long I should be waiting to see if there's feedback to be given, because stream lag is not fun. Alright, there it is. Alright, you Marsti first, because why not? Alright, there is our tiebreaker. Thank you, Probably Timeless. So we will do Marsti first. We'll finish out with Karako. Let's get started. This music is so fucking good. I feel like I say that with like every goddamn Friendsim, but the music is always amazing. So this is a James Roach track that was actually originally written for Hiveswap Act 2. They were going to use it in an area where it was just like a low blood area where there were a lot of people to talk to. But they ended up writing that area out of the game altogether. So now they're using it here as Marsti's song. Alright. Those gay days, huh? Don't want to spoil anything, but it gets kind of gay. It does get kind of gay. Okay. No more. Okay, reading. Despite a certain sense of pervading existential gloom that you haven't managed to shake even after communicating with a possible oracle/secret agent, aka Boulder, you are feeling pretty alright. No more brooding in your cliffside apartment. You have a fresh thirst this evening. A thirst for friendship. You're wandering around a neighborhood you haven't seen in a while, just a few blocks from where you crash landed. Maybe you'll go pay a visit to the crash site of your ship, even though it's long since been stripped for parts by the local population. Or maybe you'll try to find Diamond to say hi, though you're pretty sure he's still living the nomadic shrubbery lifestyle. You're just here for the nostalgia, honestly. Malaise who? You hardly know her. Just then, from across the street echoes two voices raised in an argument. Okay, before I keep going, I have translations for all of the graffiti. So, the green one up in the corner, can't really make a conclusive translation because it's mostly cut off. But, have been able to decipher that the top letter is an E, the middle letter is an S, and on the bottom it's kind of hard to tell. That could be either a C or an M. And definitely the letter R, and yeah, then I-N-K. So either crink or mrink. I'm guessing, I don't know what either of those would be the ending of as finishing a word. Wearing Splatoon merch. Aw. Damn, that's... I swear on my life, when I get a Switch, I'm gonna start playing Splatoon. Okay. The biggest... one of the two large pieces of graffiti on the left, so the one on the left-hand side, the white text with the purple outline just says Nook. That pretty much matches the, troll equivalent of a human just scribbling the word penis on a random thing. The black writing along the bottom says crinklefuck. And I don't know if that's a reference to something or what. And the purple letters, I can make it G-L-O. I'm guessing it's something like globes. Actually, I think... that one, they might explicitly tell us what the whole word is later. But it starts with G-L-O. And that is translations. That down in the corner is the little blue tentacly thing down in the corner is suspected to be a dentabulge. Yeah. Well, it doesn't, the weird thing is that it doesn't, I'll type it out in chat, because it doesn't say Kringle fucker. It says this here. Also, I'm sorry about lag. You may or may not be getting this with the context. But, like, that's what it says, not Kringle fucker, which doesn't really make sense. Not sure what it's referring to. But, there it is. Oh, wait. I fucked it up, sorry. There is no ER. If any of you know what the fuck that's a reference to, I mean, I guess there is a few yeah, there's the wrinkle fucker, there's the Kringle fucker, yeah. Those are definite possibilities. Okay, thank you for helping me kind of wrap my head around that. I wrote that out and it's like, what the fuck? Okay. Moving along with that plot. Well, one is soft and murmuring, and one is loud and honking. A rust-blood girl and a purple-blood guy are squared off in front of a patch of graffiti that blooms over the bricks like moss. The girl appears to be in the process of scrubbing it away. There's a mop bucket and a collection of sponges next to her. And I told you, this shit is sacred motherfucking iconography, the purple blood is saying. So fuck the hell off, little red dumpling. The rust blood says something back that makes him laugh. The sacred iconography appears to be a collection of swear words and a couple of colorful renderings of certain sections of troll anatomy you have not yet had the chance to explore. Hence why it is highly suspected that the little blue wiggly thing is a troll dick. Yeah, the wrinkle fucker is definitely one of my top favorite weapons in all of Homestuck. The girl with the bucket wrings her sponge out and stares the clown down. Well, you assume she's staring him down. She's wearing big round goggles to match the bright rubber gloves pulled all the way up to her elbows. Despite the mop bucket, she looks more like a scientist from a B-grade horror movie than a janitor. The purple blood doesn't have any visible weapons on him, but that doesn't make him look any less dangerous. And unless the girl has a blade in that mop handle, she's totally defenseless. Let me just say as a side note, the gloves matching, what's it called? Bright red gloves? We'll see when her sprite shows up, but I'm fairly certain her gloves are actually gray. Whoops. You faced this precise scenario more than once, but it doesn't get any easier. No matter how much self-confidence you earn or hardships you endure, life or death friendship decisions don't get any easier. Okay, so your glad tentatics are confirmed canon. I mean, kind of, not necessarily, but let's be real, even strong predominant fandom for long enough that they might as well be. So as usual, I'm gonna get the short end out of the way first, and then when we get to the second set of decisions for the good end or bad end, I will leave that up to y'all. So for right now, we're gonna intervene. We're gonna get the fuck in there. Who are you kidding? You are never going to leave her to fend for herself. It's against your religion. Your religion of reflexively and ceaselessly searching for new buddies. You aren't making excuses for it anymore. You decided to take what Boulder said to heart and just resign yourself to your fate. I'm fairly certain that's not what Boulder meant. I'm fairly certain that Boulder's point was a little less about resigning yourself to your own fate and a little more about taking control of your fate. Stay in our lane for once. I mean, yes, that would be the correct decision, but we're not making the correct decision right now. Well, that isn't exactly what she said, but a lot of it was confusing and spooky. You are half convinced she was just doing it for the mysterious aesthetic. You stride confidently toward the altercation, calling it a challenge to the rogue clown. Nobody messes with those less fortunate while you are on the case. And since it's been resoundingly too long since you've had a truly ironic and hilarious twist of fate befall you, as soon as you step up onto the sidewalk, the Purple Blood's first fist connects with your head, and your head connects with the concrete. Clock. Well, there's one ending out of the way. They looked up sheet music. Oh my god, that's so sweet though. That's fucking awesome. Oh, you rambled about it to them on Monday. Have they read it yet? How fast is... Damn. Yeah, that is fantastic. Okay, so... Turns out the solution is actually to, you know, as I'd put it, stay in our lane for once. Mind your own business for once in your life. Listen, you aren't the goddamn alien special forces. You aren't the friendship police. You can't afford to insert yourself into the middle of every single altercation in hopes that the drunken gamble of destiny will offer up new and greater connections on your sore, tired ass. You aren't made of goodwill alone. Everyone needs breaks, man. You march casually by, hands behind your back. If you knew how to whistle, you would. Nothing to see here, folks. More MSP reader lore. Doesn't know how to whistle. I'm gonna have some water for a second before we move on. Starting on Act 4. Oh, starting on Act 4 as in read the first 3 acts already? Or like skipping the first few acts kind of thing? Feet smack the ground behind you and the girl runs by, surprisingly spry in the rubber boots. Not spry enough, apparently, because the high blood is hot on her heels. Nope, not helping. Definitely not. Don't get involved. Don't get involved. You already made your choice. You are not getting involved. At the last minute, you stick out one of your famous legs and the clown goes flying. He hits the pavement hard, nose first. Son of a bitch. There you went and got involved. The high blood might be kissing concrete, but he won't be for very long. It's tough to kill a clown. Class potential sauna, yes. Longer King because you can whistle. Aw, damn. You take this opportunity to GTFO. Damn, you don't know anybody around here. Maybe if you can run back to your stolen vehicle before... Hands grab you by the back of the hoodie, hauling you around the corner and into the shadows of an alleyway. Shit, the clown must have friends, and those friends must have circled around behind you. You open your mouth to scream. Not because you think anyone is going to help you, but just because you might as well. If you can't go out fighting, might as well go out making as much noise and being as obnoxious as possible. A rubber-gloved hand slaps over your mouth before you get out more than a squeak. You taste soap. Ta-da! Yeah. Can't keep down the clown. This is not possible. Excuse me. Okay. Chill. Stop struggling. It's the Rustblood girl. She's taken the time you'd bought her and cashed it in to take refuge in an alleyway. The two of you hold still as the purple blood storms by, stomping and cursing and bleeding from a gash across his forehead. Ha! You did that. Your leg did that. You will never get over the rush you received from doing something cool and competent. Marsti holds on to you. So, an interesting thing to keep in mind as you're playing this one. This is the first of a number of kind of off-meta incidents that normally we don't really see in the Friend Sims. So, although I do believe that this might not be the only route that does this, but Rev Scarecrow, who I talk about in like every fucking Friend Sim video, because I really love his Friend Sim videos. Because he's not like a Homestuck or like like super invested in the universe or anything like that. He always has a really interesting perspective on things. And he pointed out that Marsti never introduces herself in this route, but you somehow know her name. That might have occurred in other routes that I just haven't taken exact note of because I didn't find it odd. However, that does happen in this route, and it is of note because there's a couple other things. I'll point them out as we go. Don't turn your back on the clown. True. Yeah, no, that is a bad idea. Marsti holds on to you until the sound of his footsteps fade. You feel her heartbeat hammering against your back. She lets you go and slides away to the other side of the alley, as if an apology for being so close to you before. Her boots squeak. You take a few steps nearer so you don't have to shout to be heard. You thank her for helping. You're both just all about helping, apparently. You decide not to mention the part where you tried very, very hard not to get involved. Yeah. You didn't have to do that. Actually, you shouldn't have. I'm perfectly capable of tripping my own clowns. You tell her you have no doubt that's true, even if she doesn't have a sword in her mop handle. She seems to have a good pair of legs. Mentioning her mop appears to remind her that she left all her cleaning equipment out on the street. She takes a furtive glance back down the way the guy had gone, then heads back towards the graffiti. You scamper to keep up. You shouldn't be out alone in a place like this. Not that I can really summon much gumption to care beyond this one walk down the street. But did you come here to die? Because that's what's going to happen if you keep this shit up. What's your deal? She's just... I feel like I've said this for literally every single character who I didn't think I would enjoy their route. But I wasn't sure if I was going to be super into Marsti's route, but I'm super into it. I just love her snap. Also, confirmation, rubber gloves are gray, not red. Oops, little glitch in the writing. You don't know about your deal. You've worked really hard not to consider your deal at all, because the existential radio static that prickles at the base of your neck when you think about your deal is astoundingly unpleasant. Attempting to change the subject, you ask her if maybe she shouldn't get out of here while she has the chance. Is that bucket really that important to her? Another bucket joke. Marsti looks at you with a certain eyebrow raise that you're well accustomed to by now. Oh shit. You just put your foot in it again, culture-wise. You wish you could find a book with a crash course on Alternia, or at least a decent Wikipedia article, but it's not like there's any helpful Earth Guide for idiots. At least, you've never heard of one. Besides, things are different depending on where you are on Earth, geographically. You imagine it's the same for Alternia. You feel positively nauseated at the idea of having to learn a whole new set of societal norms. You'll just stay in this particular city, thank you very much. Do I care about my bucket? That's kind of a weird way to phrase it. I care about it as much as the next person who doesn't want to get cold. Also, scored rays don't grow on coniferous fauna. I was meaning to look up the etymology of scored rays, because that's a very particular way of, saying that thing. Scored ray. I'm not getting anything for the word scored on its own, or the whole word Sorry, oh god. So I typed scored ray in, right? So I clicked on the Google search bar. All of the suggestions it's giving me, I'll have to take a screen cap of this and post it somewhere. Homestuck terms, Homestuck age, Alternian culture, Homestuck grub, Homestuck subject later, Homestuck troll signs, new trolls Homestuck, Homestuck troll introduction. It knows what the fuck I'm trying to... It knows what the fuck I'm trying to look up. Okay. Yeah, although all of the top results are like, okay, a flarping guide for Marsti, troll terminology, MSPA wiki page, and then a page called Proceedings of the Parliament of South Australia. It's a Google book. What the fuck? One scour dray, one tip dray. What? Definition. A trucker cart for delivering beer bottles or other heavy loads. Okay, so scour dray. I mean, I guess the etymology makes sense, but I'm kind of like... Okay. Yeah. Oh fuck, I forgot to take a screen cap of that Google search thing. Oh well. Yeah, so I guess that's how that... Oh, I just scrolled the wrong way. There we go. Okay, yes, also scour rays don't grow on trees. Alright, that's where we left off. She tosses the discarded sponges back into the bucket. You bend down to help, but she stops you with a sardonic glance. Most of her glances are sardonic, but this one is especially so. She goes back to work on the graffiti. If you're going to hang around, you could make yourself less useless. Watch and make sure that high blood doesn't come back. Oh yeah, for sure. You can totally do that. Of course, you won't be able to actually do anything if he comes back. Where's Ramel when you need her? Maybe you could use your own limp corpse to slow the clown down. Not that you know Marsti well enough yet to love the idea of sacrificing yourself for her. Man, character development is great. Not immediately going to your death is great. The thought sends a creeping wash of anxiety along your spine. You don't understand it, so you try to distract yourself. Creeping wash of anxiety. That might be connected to things that I will again point out a little bit later. Yeah, scour like clean and dray like cart. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That makes sense. When you put it like that, it makes sense. Yeah, she's got a little mop bucket, like in the troll call card. You ask Marsti if she just cleans graffiti, or if she has other jobs. Okay, well, maybe not jobs. You know nobody on Alternia has an actual job. Whatever I'm feeling, mostly. Today I was feeling getting rid of this incredibly ugly piece of shit drawing. Tomorrow I might be feeling dirty front door mats. Depends on my mood. Yeah, you def get that. You are also a person of mercurial moods. Do you seek out new friends tonight, or go to one of your standby pals? Sometimes the universe just sweeps in and decides for you. Yeah, well, you are extremely weird and focused on weird shit. But also kind of magnetic at the same time. It's freaking me out. Wow, thank you! That's okay. Not sure if that was wholly a compliment. But yeah, it's mentioned a few times that he's just weirdly magnetic. Which I feel like might have something to do with possible dog scratch interference. Marsti dunks her sponge back in her bucket. Or scour tray, right. Buckets are dirty. The drones don't make it down here very often, so there's a lot of shit to scrub. You tell her it's cool that she likes cleaning so much. Where you're from, physical labor is considered morally virtuous, but also kind of looked down on? Fuck, maybe you could use an Earth Cultural Handbook for your own damn self. Well, that's true. That's the dichotomy. You're like, wow, look at you, physical labor, you go. But then it was like, oh, don't go into trades. They're lesser. Huh. Yeah, that pisses me off. Yeah, basically. That pretty much sums it up, Sneak Out. Like, that's just how the interactions go. Wow, I'm looking at the stream preview and thing, and it's like, I'm responding to things in chat that I can see that have not even appeared on the stream yet. And it's like, oh dear. That's not good. I'm gonna have a sip of water. Ah, I spilled water. Fuck. Fucking shit. I'm 99% sure that none of it got in the keyboard. How many times have I done this, like, on stream? Honestly? Okay. Who said anything about liking it? Who made the rule that I can only do what I like? She slams the sponge down hard into the scour tray, getting water down the front of her apron. See, she has this, like, almost like a contrarian twinge. That's just, you know, an interesting attitude. Was the F in chat for me spilling water all over my fucking keyboard tray? I'm gonna pass out. Alright. Good night, Odd. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you around. Have a good sleep. This is just what I do. What, do you like wandering around in someone else's hoodie? Accosting strangers? Kind of? Sometimes? You didn't choose the friend life. The friend life chose you. But Marsti isn't a stranger in a strange world like you are. She's got horns and gray skin and everything. You realize she's a rusty, but come on. There's something there I was gonna comment on. Oh yeah, wandering around in someone else's hoodie. Still wearing Malik's hoodie. And I'm assuming also the purple dress from Chixie's route. I think. Oh yeah. How many burgundies do you know? How many burgundies do you know exactly? Well, one. And he's interested in, meat. But he's pretty enthusiastic about it. One might say over-enthusiastic. You think I'm not enthusiastic? She scrubs harder to show you just how enthusiastic she can be. A delicate calligraphy-based rendering of the word globe gobbler disappears beneath her soapy hands. So I'm guessing that the rendering of the word globe gobbler is what the purple graffiti in the back that starts with GLO is. I'm guessing that's the loving rendering of the word globe gobbler. Okay, maybe Diamond is not the greatest example of someone enjoying their hobby in a healthy and natural way, but you know plenty of other lowbloods with cool hobbies. Skyla, Chixie, Sarava. Am I supposed to know who these idiots are? Not all lowbloods know each other. Oh man, that's not what you meant at all. I'm not going to explain my life story to some random alien. Are you going to help or not? Right, so he names off all those people as if she would know who they are. But it's clearly, you know, in that narrative box, it's meant more for the reader, right? But it's still something that he says out loud to Marcy, so it's this weird little meta blip. And there's a few more of those. Otherwise, I wouldn't particularly point that out. But in the context of some of the lines that come up a little later, it's something to take note of. Oh, well, you thought you were supposed to be keeping an eye out for clowns. Yeah, well, instead you were asking me invasive questions. So help me scrub. Despite these mixed signals, you pick up a sponge and start cleaning. This is actually a lot harder work than it looks like, and your back and shoulders begin to ache immediately. If Marcy does this every day, she must be ripped under that jacket. She stops talking and you just clean alongside her, worried that you're royally screwing this up. You don't know how to fix it. The graffiti is quickly disappearing between your combined efforts, and you aren't sure how much longer she's going to put up with you after that. You've got to pull out the big friendship guns, and fast. You ask, in your characteristically smooth style, what she's doing after this. Any plans? Just hypothetically? Who knows? Probably I'll just look for more shit to clean. Well, it just so happens you know a lot of dirty places. Just exceptionally filthy. Oh yeah? Where? It is choice time. Uptown or downtown? Put your feedback in the chat. I'm gonna have some water while y'all consider the options, and also while the stream lag catches up, unfortunately. While that is happening, I'm just noticing behind the writing of the word Nook, that white writing with the purple outline, red and green swirl. That's a shrub motif. Uptown or downtown? Where are we gonna go? Decision. I know, it's kind of a weird one. I like the fact that as the Friendsims have gone on, it's become more, you know, I think it's a sign that of how much the writing has improved, that it's become more and more difficult to accurately guess which one is like the right one to get the good ending on a first go through. I think that's pretty fucking cool. I think that's a good way to show the complexity. Downtown? Alright, we have a vote for downtown. And I don't know what your choice is, Sneakcat, but I'm sorry, I gotta keep moving because I feel like I have been sitting here for a little bit. It stresses me out when I sit in one spot for too long. So, downtown it is. Try downtown. You suggest that this place looks right for some serious power cleaning, because, wow, filthy. Yeah, I guess. I was planning on cleaning down here anyway. The drones mostly take care of the high blood neighborhoods. Interesting. Zebra had low bloods cleaning for him, but maybe he's an exception. Zebra makes me endlessly angry. I'm not here to explain cultural dynamics to you. At least not for free. You consider mentioning that you were the main character, and thus totally deserving of cultural exposition, but you doubt she'd take that well. Also, it's kind of a weird thing to say, so never mind that. And this is the first of the major blips in the meta kind of, not meta-narrative, not meta-textual, but like the meta in the narrative, like meta-references that he's making here, that they're making here. And, you know, because normally MSPA Reader does not do the meta thing. There's a couple of little inside jokes sprinkled in there for us to enjoy, but nothing quite as bluntly meta as flat up saying, I am the main character and totally deserving of cultural exposition. You show Marsti an owl you recognize. The one with the incinerator where Paula had gotten rid of her assassination disguise. Here, maybe? Too easy. Okay, well, what about this stretch of road where Ramel killed a dude? There's still quite a bit of purple blood splattered around. Pretty good. But no. I don't have the right outfit for blood. Jesus, picky. Oh, sorry. Are my personal preferences inconveniencing you? No, but you aren't used to this shit taking so long to pop off. Usually you've made a friend by this point, or you've been killed. Another meta reference. How the fuck would MSPA Reader know that they've been killed? They'd literally still be dead. You've been killed before? What are you, a purbeast? 9 lives? In retrospect, that was also a pretty weird thing to say. You meant it as a metaphor. Sometimes your internal monologue gets out of hand and spills out your interlocution. Whatever, dude. You're considering just bringing her back to your place to clean up the mess you've made there, when you realize Marsti is no longer with you. You turn around and find her gazing down an adjacent street into an empty lot. The space gives you a brief twinge of recognition before it fizzles away to nothing. Meh. Probably just deja vu. And it is the space where Boulder was killed, which is the bad ending from that route. See, because the bad endings are technically not the ones that MSPA Reader continues on through. They're not like the relevant ones, but we see, you know, it pissed me off before, but now I'm kind of, I don't know if it was on purpose, but now I'm kind of getting what they're trying to get at, where, because like in Parlapa's route, the purple blood, who, you know, you break into his Morel's apartment, he comes back at the end of Ramel's route and recognizes you, right? So that's kind of like a bleeding of the two timelines there, and then we're seeing more of this, like all of these meta references. It's kind of, it's so, okay. It's theory time. Basically, the theory is that, whatever the fuck happened in Boulder's bad end, where like that reality glitched, it's changed something, it's affected something. MSPA Reader is, you know, becoming in a way self-aware of the different timelines and choices that of things that have happened and things that technically didn't happen in this timeline. He's becoming aware of them, and it's starting to affect their interactions with the world. I mean, this alley, this place should not be hitting a twinge of recognition, because this setting only used in Boulder's bad end, the one where Boulder dies, which is not, you know, the quote-unquote I guess not the alpha timeline. Boulder doesn't die in the alpha timeline because Boulder needs to keep existing for MSP Reader to not only become friends with her, but to continue befriending people, because as we can see in Boulder's bad end, MSP Reader is completely traumatized, completely just suddenly becomes so overwhelmed with emotion almost out of nowhere. So that's kind of where, you know, that theory is. It feels like, because, you know, sometimes, you know, sort of the meta jokes like that, it could be, I don't know, maybe a new writer who hasn't quite nailed the style that we usually go for, wherein, you know, like, we do meta jokes, but we don't directly have the main character acknowledging, that they're the main character and, like, those sorts of things. But this route was written by Aisha Yufera, who is, of course, prolific Friendsim writer, has written many of the routes. I think at least half of them. So, like, this isn't someone who's just new to the game and doesn't know what they're doing. This is very purposeful, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. At first, you don't notice the person sitting on the tire pile, because without her other half, her silhouette is underwhelming. Ta-da! Oh, fantastic. Hey, Normie. Oh, hi, Follicle. It's been a while. She might notice that you are a whole lot less normal than you used to be. They're right. They're weird as hell. Hey, you are also like 80% more confident than you used to be. You don't back down from insults. Perhaps Marsti is the one who is weird, because she's the one who is so fucking into cleaning up after people. That's really strange. Hey, that's a little judgy. Yeah, for real. You had been expecting Follicle to join you in mocking Marsti. You didn't want to be too mean or anything. You were just really sick of having your intelligence insulted concerning stuff you absolutely could have no way of knowing about. You wanted to make her look like an asshole, but as usual, it seems to be in fact you who is the asshole. Marsti seems to agree. Hey, maybe go fuck yourself a little bit. And yes, indeed, Follicle. There she be. You apologize. You didn't mean it. You just experienced pilot confusion when there's too many friends in one place. You're sorry. You didn't mean to insult her hobby, but she actually doesn't really seem into it. You are just trying to help. You know plenty of lowbloods who do all sorts of activities. Oh yeah? Who? Well, Follicle, for instance. She trolls... Wait, you need another word. She and her boyfriend, harass people, and they seem to enjoy that. And then there's Skyla and Chixie and Sarava. They all excel in their fields, to a certain extent. I love the comparison of trolling to harassment, because that's basically it. Yeah. Right. So how's that going for them? Well, you deflate somewhat. Chixie gets skeeved all the time. Chixie gets skeeved on all the time, and Skyla constantly has to defend her home and Lucis against thieves. Sarava literally had to gouge out their own eye and downplay their psychic power. Vicaire... Well, near you can tell, Vicaire is having a great time falling off cliffs and imagining the firmament above. He might be an outlier and therefore shouldn't be counted. While you're working through your apparent classism through navel-gazing monologue, Marsti is checking Follicle out. Like, really checking her out. You told her to get gay. Who the fuck are you? Follicle slaps Marsti's hand away. Whew. Keep your fronds to yourself. Marsti raises her goggles up to her forehead. You got void rot. No shit. Troll Sherlock. Marsti gives her another once over. She looks impressed. You honestly can't blame her. If Marsti likes grimy things, well, Follicle is right up her alley. Dirt Eldorado. Selfishly, you wish you'd met Marsti back when you were more of a wreck at the beginning of your adventure. You're filthy. And you have no idea what you're talking about. Also, fuck you. Marsti touches her on the forehead, slowly this time, so as not to take her by surprise. Follicle resembles a nervous little bug trying to decide whether or not to scuttle away. Did you think dirt helped keep you insulated? It's actually the opposite of that. If you were less grimy, the energy transfer would be easier. Oh, right. Cooper isn't here, which means her giant battery isn't here either. Yeah, I sent him out for takeout. I needed a break. But won't she, die? Not instantly. Does her husk top die as soon as you unplug it? What are you, a fucking Voidrot scholar? What do you know? I know a lot of things. You ask Marsti if she's interested in medicine. Maybe she could go into that. Marsti rounds on you in stark irritation. This is the most emotion she's shown since you met her. Oh yeah. Yeah, surprise, surprise, there are actually eyes underneath those goggles. Whatever you're trying to do here, stop. I'm not stupid. What do you think they'd say if I applied to be a medic off-planet? They'd laugh their asses off and hand me a saturated scrub pole. And that's if they're feeling generous. This is what I do, so let me do it. Chastened uncharacteristically speechless, you nod and let Marsti turn back to Follicle. So basically, Marsti's insistence on, this is what I do, and, do I have to enjoy it, and all of that kind of logic and narrative is because she's just... Her attitude is basically, well, if this is the life I've been forced into, guess I might as well embrace it. And she's just being like, yep, clean shit. That's all I do. Because that's what she's going to be forced into when she goes off planet. So she's just, not even giving herself the chance to enjoy a life of freedoms that she's going to miss. I mean, what little freedoms low bloods have, but, develop hobbies that she can't keep up with, interests that she can no longer pursue after going off planet and being forced into the servitude of cleaning. She's just accepted it. And she said, this is my life. I'm not even gonna give myself something that I'm just gonna miss later. And resigned herself to the fact that she is just going to become a cleaning person. That's it. That's her fate, and she has taken that to heart, which is heartbreaking. All of these children hurt my heart. You really don't want to just leave it like that, but maybe the truly friendly thing here would be less trying to improve your friend's life and just letting them live it. Diamond had told you much the same thing all those months ago. So that's a time frame, months. And all those months ago implies that it was quite a while ago. So I believe the figure that's been tossed around is generally somewhere in the vicinity of 3 months on Alternia for all of these happenings. But again, we're not given any exact figures for that. That he's planning to just keep his head down and try to stay alive. It's not uplifting, but maybe not everything has to be. Yeah, that's true. Marsti gives Follicle some advice as to the best way to make sure her body retains as much energy as possible. Follicle groans, and you're pretty sure that if she had eyes, she'd be rolling them. You do notice, however, that she listens. Marsti starts back down the sidewalk after that, pushing her scourge in front of her. After a moment's hesitation, you follow, half expecting for her to get mad again. Instead, she just slows down so you can catch up. She's pulled her goggles back down over her eyes. You think they're probably more for social reasons than protective ones. Sheepishly, you apologize for being a busybody back there. You're just really used to wanting to help people out. Kind of for selfish reasons, friendship reasons, but still. Yeah, it's fine. No hard feelings. You just like fixing things when they're busted. Or when you've busted them through your own chronic idiocy. Sometimes you've just got to do what you can. But you think Marsti might understand that a little bit. Yeah, I think I might. Sometimes it'd be like that. Ta-da! You don't like hearing about it, but you gotta listen anyway. I know. Health stuff is never fun. Trust, I fucking know. With all my chronic health bullshit. It's... not good. Also, I started physio recently, so I have to do exercises. Good God, do I not want to do them. But if I want to feel better, I gotta. Speaking of which, my posture right now is awful because I'm leaning into the mic. The mic stand that this comes with is, like, workable, but it's not great. I was under the impression that I would be able to adjust the height on it, but I can't. So I have to kind of hunch over to get at a decent spot with it. I think I might invest in a actual nice mic stand with, like, a standard screw at some point so that I can adjust it and sit up properly. Because part of why all my fucking muscles are so crunched up is because I hunch over my computer in my work all the time. What do you know? That would make things hurt. But yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. Fuck, it's already past midnight. Okay. Loading up. We're gonna hit that bad ending, take 5, and buzz into Karako. There's a lot going on with that one. Okay. It just so happens that you have connections. Uptown girls. And boys. You ask Marsti how she'd like to clean a mansion. I guess that could be cool. What are you thinking? Well, first of all, you want to bring your new friend to your swank stolen car. Marsti doesn't seem that interested, although she does comment that she's never been in a scuttle buggy. Then she begins picking up the crumbs from your back seat. You tell her she doesn't have to clean up after you. Bold of you to assume I'm doing it for you. You shrug. You've come to accept that some of your friends are just fundamentally difficult to understand. Some days you really think you're beginning to get it, and the next you remember that alien isn't just your immigration status. Marsti stares at the window as the houses get bigger and grander. The car passes beneath an archway, and a light sweeps over the two of you. Marsti stiffens. You tell her not to worry. It's just a sensor to discern your blood color. Malik gave you a plug-in to scramble it. No stress. It must be nice having friends in high places. It must be nice to have friends in high places. You ask Marsti where she lives. Wherever I feel like. Depends. So she's just like Diamond. Her hive was destroyed. Or possibly up a tree like Boulder. Although it's possible she was just fucking with you. I wish you'd stop comparing me to people like I should know what you're talking about. And no, my hive's fine. It just gets boring cleaning the same fucking building over and over again. You get how that could be cool, going from place to place, like Diamond goes looking for meat, and Connell and Anastasia go looking for people to kill. Everyone here seems to be weirdly obsessive and hyperfixated. Maybe that's what happens when you bring up a bunch of kids in a robot-regulated world where the only rule is don't get cold, and by the way, some of you are inherently inferior. Have fun! As you get closer As you get closer to Zebra's hive, you begin to get chilly strut pods. What if he tries to make Marsti into one of his, guests? He has that weird thing for lowbloods. You figure she'll be safe if she's with you, but you aren't always the best at making good decisions when you have more than one friend to deal with at once. The sight of Zebra's Lucis glaring at you from an upstairs window clinches it. You can't take another condescending stare from Zebra Dad. Where are we going? I hope you weren't talking about this pathetic mess on the seat. Barely worth my time. You can make a better mess, you swear! Ugh, no. I don't want a staged mess. Fuck. Okay. Who do you know who is kind of a slob, but also not a total piece of shit? Gallic! Goat Dad lets you in with a hysterically happy bleat. Aw, miss you too, Goat Dad. Marsti weathers his snuffling and nuzzles, and when he tries to eat one of her rubber gloves, she scratches him behind the ears as a distraction. She gently removes the glove from his mouth. I need these, actually. You call out to Gallic, but he doesn't respond. Maybe he's out. The coffee pot is half full, but it's cold. Goat Dad bleats and butts you gently. Aw, poor guy. Are you lonely? Has Gallic been neglecting you now that he has a hate boyfriend? Gallic and Tagora. Marsti is a little more uncomfortable here than she had been in your car, but when she catches sight of Gallic's study, all of that sloughs off. It's even more of a mess than it had been last time you were here, when he'd been trying to impress you with his intellectual clutter. She gets down to work immediately, stacking books alphabetically and sorting papers into piles by subject. You know Gallic is an A-type personality who will probably go briefly ballistic at the knowledge someone has messed with his stuff, but Marsti is just so organized and thorough. You feel sort of weird just standing here and watching her clean, so you gather up all the used dishes and bring them into the kitchen. When you're done with that, you figure you'll just try to be entertaining. You ask her if she's seen any movies recently. Since you've made friends with Zebedee and started hanging out with Tigiri's anime club, you've been exposed to multiple cultural touchstones. Yeah, I don't really watch much TV. Don't worry, I don't need to be entertained. She kneels down to start dusting beneath the couch. I know you think I'm basic, and that's fine. I don't really give a shit what anyone thinks, let alone a condescending alien with no blood color to speak of. Yikes. So if you wouldn't mind... Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh. Oh no. Crunch, crunch, crunch. What the hell is that noise? And there you go again, getting swept up in a friendship endeavor and totally beefing it. You forgot about Goat Dad's propensity for nomming on anything within reach, and he's spent the last 10 minutes happily munching on several leather-bound notebooks. Gallic's experimental word rumpuses! Fuck, he loves those! He's going to murder you! To smooth another layer onto this farce, the front door creaks open and Gallic's voice rings out, calling to Goat Dad, who lets out an excited bleat and scampers off, trailing little white scraps. Marsti looks from you to the front of the house and down at the paper trail. Then she's out the window and off down the hill, because though basic she may be, she's not an idiot. Scamper. Wah wah. I love the way that they drew her down at the bottom of the fucking hill. She just looks so fucking funny. Okay. Well, break time. Let's take 5 and we'll be back for Karako. Hello. I forgot to set the timer, so I'm a little bit late and sorry about that. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Very apt description of Marsti's reaction there. Okay, music volume back up. Do not quit the game, just close the menu. Okay. So, I'm gonna cut the shit and go right to one amazingly adorable Karako Piero. gonna plug my headphones in. There we go. I unplugged them, and I just had to make sure the music did not do weird sound things when it starts playing. Okie dokie, and let's start. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and skulking in rear areas, trying to spy out individuals who look ripe for friendship while avoiding the more criminally insane denizens. Just now, you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far, far apart. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here is like most of the other life forms on Alternia, evolved to ruthlessly purge the gene pool of the weak and the reasonable. Coiled, spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns flanking writhing bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacled flora with toothed lobes oozing liquid that hisses and smokes when it touches the ground. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed in every circumstance on this planet. While your time on Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved in acid. You should have known that eventually you would have to come up against the local flora, so you proceed discreetly, avoiding poison fronds and trying not to step on trigger roots. But suddenly your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then around the corner comes a small figure. Okay. Can I just take this moment to, for the millionth fucking time, express how much I love the fucking music for this route. It's got that kind of bouncy vibe that a lot of the, the Purple Blood music has. Little carnival-y, clowny, the weird, the honk noises and all that stuff. But it's just, I mean, I'm not super familiar with verbal terms, but I believe what I am enjoying right now is the bass that, happens. Fuck. It's such a bop. Like, this, this kind of bridge portion, so good. Oh my god. Yes, there he is. Oh my god, Sneak Cat, I love that you're freaking out so much. He is so fucking wonderful. Look at those little... I'm not gonna say angel child. You'll see what happens. But, oh my god. And yeah, oh wow. I love his music so fucking much. Okay. I've said that about basically every fucking route, though. Anyway, I had to take my earbud out so that I stop getting distracted by the fucking music and actually do some reading. Its face and horns are painted with smudged black and white marks. Despite its diminutive physique, it has some of the most impressive horns you've ever seen on a troll. It has some of those impressive horns you've seen on any troll. Can I just replay that moment for a second? Oh, this poor little fucker. Then the small figure sees you, too, and is so startled it jumps a foot, impaling its horns on an overhanging tree branch and sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air. Aww. Honk! You beg the small person's pardon and assure him that you were fully as startled as he. You go on to explain that you are not dangerous, but even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even a small person with horns of that size. Honk? Yes, you will be happy to help him down as long as he promises not to attack you with the many-bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt, or with the dozens of cans of an inexpensive soft drink held in bandoliers across his chest. It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture like helping someone whose horns are stuck on a tree branch can scarcely fail to kindle a light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag or ID necklace. You tilt your head and crane your neck to read the writing on it. Karako, Piero. If lost, call Bronya or Sama. So, Karako only speaks in honks. He does not speak, well, Alternian to you, or, English in the writing. He only speaks in honks. And he seems to be a, more grown version of the quote-unquote, the sick grubs that Bronya has been saving, or the grubs with, quote-unquote, the malformations, or anything like that. This is one of the grubs that Bronya saved, and he's now a child. This is so fucking cool. I really hope they get to interact at some point. I know, minor spoiler, that I think I'll just toss out there right now. We do not get to see Bronya in this route. But holy fuck do I want to see these two interact. I want to see these two interact so fucking badly. I swear on my goddamn life. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Woo! Somewhere in Act 2, those two need to connect. I fucking swear. Holy fuck. Okay. I'm gonna stop freaking the fuck out now. Suddenly, this all makes sense. This Karako Pierrot must have been one of Bronya's reject runt wrigglers, who, having grown to childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune. That would account for his small size, short legs, and small stature relative to his horns. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend. But you've got zero signal out here. You wonder if the surrounding vegetation eats palm husk signals, just as it looks like it eats everything else. You disappointedly slip your palm husk back into your pocket. Honk. You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope you will have time to discuss later. For now, you are ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons, or those who stuff dozens of them in their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if buried in your torso, however unintentionally. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch these spring thorns growing at the edge of the path, or their trigger roots. Ah, there he is! Once you are behind Karako, you grasp his horns firmly and pull, withdrawing them from the tree branch and allowing him to drop lightly to the ground. Honk! You tell him that he's very welcome. Then there's a moment of awkward silence as you try to think of something else to say. Fortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of social graces as you are, and gets the conversational ball rolling himself. Honk? You explain that you are indeed a stranger in these parts, and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemaspectrum categories. Wild, right? Look at his cute little face. Although not quite as strange as you used to be, you like to think, you're really starting to blend in with the local color. Honk? Well, you'd rather not exhibit your blood just now. You're a couple of quarts low due to the robust conditions of life on Alternia, some of which you have recently had the honor of encountering. Honk. You sympathize. Slinking along these hidden paths in the Alternian woods can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make strong men weep, and the vegetation looks like it was designed by the Marquis de Sade. Marquis de Sade, I guess that would be. Not that he knows who Marquis de Sade is. You can't help but feel that it would be so much better if one only had a skulk buddy, you continue. How wonderful it would be to travel these dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert on friend synonyms by now. Honk? No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you would certainly like to. Your new potential friend is obviously thinking seriously about this issue, so you back off, give him space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on one of the writhing bushes beside the path. You aren't one to force yourself on others, or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Really? Okay, well, maybe you forced yourself on others in the past and tried to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you've even done this a lot. But you've recently evolved as a person. You now know that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendship spreads naturally from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. You're reflecting thus on the theme of friendship when allowed... Oh, jeez. I don't know how to... How the fuck do I read that? I have some water. Alright, I'm just gonna describe it instead of reading it. When a loud electronic static noise pours suddenly from the sky above you, it's a crackling, sizzling sound, like a chitinous thing with too many legs struggling in a hot frying pan. Oh no, baby! Karako jumps so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped but huge, faceless, metal and with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. It's also not a very sparkling conversationalist. The electronic... How did I describe it again? Oh, fuck. I already forgot. The electronic static fuzz. That does not make grammatical sense. It remarks in a flat, echoing blare. It repeats the noise to elaborate further. Honk! Okay, first choice, short ending out of the way. Obviously, the bad way to go about this is to just fucking ditch him. So, run! A drone! You run in a wild panic. It's a drone! Even the Alternian badasses you've hung out with have been terrified of the drones. Up close, it's one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen. And it's making noises, which you didn't know they even did, and which probably means something sinister. You race at top speed down the twisting path, focusing your senses to their breaking point to avoid trigger roots, razor leaves, and acid pods. At first, you hear the pattering of small feet running behind you, but as you redouble your speed, the pattering falls back and after a while is lost in the distance. You sprint for what seems like a lifetime before you finally catch your foot on a trigger root and go flying through the air, barely missing being sliced into 100 pieces of tumbling ham by the barbed spring vine that lashes across the path only inches behind you. You land in the dirt, wind knocked out of you, but otherwise unhurt. You lie there catching your breath and waiting, but nothing happens. No enormous metal monster whizzes down the path to impale you. No small clown-faced individual overtakes you on his short legs. Finally, after enough nothing happens, you pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You're alone on the path, and no sound of either friend or potential friend or foe can be heard. No birds singing, which is probably good. You imagine that any birds native to this forest would probably sing by croaking up putrid sludge, and that sludge would be poisonous or radioactive. But leaving aside the character of the local fauna, what should you do? Keep on down the path, putting more distance between yourself and the drone? Or should you go back and see if Karako is okay? You waffle for a bit, then decide to go back. You sneak back along the path. You sneak a long, long way. But however far you go, there are no signs of either Karako or the drone. You don't know whether the drone picked up Karako and took him away, or disemboweled him and scattered the fragments, or whether Karako leapt into the undergrowth and hid or escaped. Or what? One way or another, though, you're all alone again on this path through shit-smell forest. Game over. Not much to comment about that ending. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. And get this show really on the road. Okay, I'm gonna have some water, and then we're gonna start the next route. Leap to your proto-friend's aid. You leap to your proto-friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Karako against a large rock that juts out of the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your body. You then pretend to be leaning against the rock in an attitude of tranquil repose. Several of the bladed weapons in Karako's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't let this show on your face. Instead, you yawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think the drones will know what a wristwatch is anyway. You pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. Again, you're not giving anything away, because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. But the drone has apparently taken an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth and hovers above the path several meters from where you're pretending to relax against a rock after a long day of hiking through scenic, shit-smell forests. It's quite a terrifying sight, actually. The drone observes soullessly with another electronic static... I keep forgetting how I described it. The drone observes soullessly with another electronic static buzz, making Karako jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. However, you maintain what you believe the local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. The drone's black metal head studies you, or it could be studying something in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. You can't really tell from its expression because it has no features to make expressions with. This examination, or non-examination, continues for some time. But your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you are an inanimate object that makes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upward again, gaining speed until with a dreary buzz it whizzes off somewhere to find another hapless, non-standard citizen to euthanize. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock and rub several sore places that have been pierced by bladed weapons. You turn to Karako to comment on the recent fervor, but stop when you see the look he is directing at you. A warm and admiring look. An affectionate and esteeming look. A look of friendship. Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put out your hand for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. But before you can seal the deal on this sweet friendship transaction, you hear a disturbance further down the path. Here fucking goes, folks. Get ready. God, can't the narrative chill for one single moment? Especially a moment when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship. Side note, more narrative-based meta from MSPA Reader. Fishy fishy. Speaking of fishy fishy. You turn to look. The footsteps, several sets of them, get nearer, and around the bend come three figures. Three figures wearing swimming outfits, lots of gold jewelry, and insouciant. I tried to look up the definition and then I spelled the word wrong. Oh, indifferent, showing casual lack of concern. Three figures with gills on their necks and small, stylized fins on their faces. Oh man, is it possible that you finally happened upon a group of the legendary Sea Dwellers? They stop short when they see you and Karako, obviously startled. They study you. You study them. Then Finhead Interloper 1, in a one-piece and diamond earrings, whispers to her companions, and all three burst out laughing. Finhead Interloper 2, in a violet wetsuit and rings, slaps her thigh, and Finhead Interloper 3 in checkered swim trunks holds his sides. Part of you is relieved. Laughter drives out the devil, is the best medicine, and in any event is better than homicidal mania. On the other hand, this laughter isn't friendly. It's cold, mocking, and supercilious. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. Aw, baby! You notice Karako's cheeks flushing purple under his face paint and his jaw clenching. However, he just stares with stony dignity at the interlopers. This just makes them laugh harder. The first sea dweller says, "What are you two supposed to be?" "Shrimp Cassidy and the Squamous Kid," says her second companion. "A cullbait minnow and his mutated soft-shelled crab," says her third. Looks like the minnow one went down on the clown, causing it to spurt out the other one. The sea dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Karako's face is taking on a harsh, glowering look. You guess that such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life, and as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternian bullies. Honk. You tell him to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away. Honk. No! Remember that drone? It's probably still around here somewhere. Touch a scale on their heads and you could be rendered into mother grub feedstock. Hey, bottom feeders, no whispering when you're in the presence of your bathers. And you, little boy, put a respectful expression on your recognition surface. Oh, no indeed. Be more like your friend the slender manatee over there. In fact, why is it you two are still perpendicular? In the presence of sea dwellers, you should be bowed right anglers. The first sea dweller seems to have an affinity for cheesy ocean puns. Yep, that's a common theme. You bow to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Ooh, he's building up. He's got little tears in his eyes now. Ah! Karako remains stubbornly upright, his face getting angrier and purpler by the moment. The bladed weapons in his belt jingle from his enraged trembling. Oh, see the little clownfish? He's getting angry. Looks like he's gonna shit his pants. What did I tell you about your face, boy? Don't your Lucis teach you anything? Didn't your Lucis teach you anything? I don't even has a Lucis. A self-respecting Lucis would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucis is just as defective. Ugh! Yep, that was it. He done. It was the Lucis comment that got him, which, of course, because we know if Lost returned to or contact Bronya or Sama, it's pretty likely that he doesn't have a Lucis and never did. Is the little boy gonna do a murder? Oh, you'll see. The Lucis cracks are too much for Karako. Ignoring your hissed warnings, he suddenly leaps, snarling into the air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand, and hurtles towards the sea dwellers. Honk! How do I... He's yelling, and the letters are alternating. I can't yell today. I can do certain character voices in reading, but I can't yell today. Y'all just envision in your head what that ungodly screeching would be like while I have a drink of water. Oh shit, that's right. Okay, so here's our choice. So, in the chat, stop him or leap in and support him. It's a paradigm similar to the issue that comes up in Skyla's group, right? Where she's trying to go save Lady and you say, I don't know, stop or support. But he's certainly trying to do a murder. So, drop your choices in there. And have a little more water. Okay, we have one vote for just flying on in there. Probably timeless. If you have a vote, I'm gonna count. I'm not gonna count, actually. I just remembered that the reason they probably haven't responded yet is because of lag. Or maybe you're just, like, neutral on this one. Want to see whichever one. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna keep moving at this point. Y'all got the decision last time. I'm gonna give this one to Sneak Cat. So we're just gonna stop him. Oh no, wait, no, you said don't stop him. Yeah, leap into the fray? Alright, we got a unanimous. That's good. I was about to just keep on going. Alright, unanimously, let's support our new friend. Leap into the fray and lend comfort and support. You leap into the fray to lend comfort and support. You would have counseled Karako to turn the other cheek, and keep turning cheek after cheek until the Sea Dwellers got fed up and went away, but now that things have hotted up, you're not about to let down the slide. Karako crashes into the Sea Dwellers, his bladed weapons whirling like a blender. You scamper close behind him and kick someone in the shin. It hurts your foot, but doesn't seem to have any other effect. These Sea Dwellers are made of tough stuff. Or you're extremely flimsy. Signs have recently pointed to the latter. Well, you know, both are true. Sea Dwellers are tough shit, and also humans are flimsy. Your next sortie is more effective, however. Thinking quickly, you pick up a rock and throw it at the trigger root of a spring thorn growing along the path next to where the violet bloods are enduring Hurricane Clown. The coiled stalk springs out, impaling the dude with a dozen-foot-long thorns. He's thrown off balance, and violet blood begins to flow copiously down his body. That's a hue you haven't seen before. Kind of pretty. A note on the blood splatter on the side. It is unreasonably pale for violet blood. I believe it is so that it actually stands out from the background. And creates a contrast by being much paler than the vibrant colors in the background, because violet blood, like the color that violet blood would be, is actually used a lot in the background of this, in this setting. So it would be kind of hard to see if there wasn't some sort of high contrast there. So that's what I think is going on with that. But these Sea Dwellers are made of tough stuff. He yanks the springthorn stalks away from him, pulling the thorns out and flings it into the woods. Then he takes out a pocket handkerchief and starts patting his injuries gently. Meanwhile, Karako's bladed weapons have not been idle, and the other two Sea Dwellers are likewise leaking violet blood. But these bastards are hard to kill. You remember Polypa telling you that. As you watch, one of them grabs one of the bladed weapons from Karako's hand and buries it in Karako's stomach. This, unsurprisingly, is distracting for a poor little clown, allowing two of the finny sons of bitches to grab handfuls of bladed weapons from his belt and bury them in various parts of his body. You dance around delivering harmless kicks and curses. Oh, baby. Also, yes, Hurricane Clown is a pretty fucking great phrase. Ugh, can't fucking talk tonight. Karako is still waving his weapons, but he seems to be waving them more slowly now. Then, as more and more bladed weapons are buried in his body, he seems to lose focus. The weapons he's been brandishing fall from his hands. Finally, he falls to the ground in the center of a spreading pool of purple blood, twitches feebly for a moment, and then is still. You don't like this? Ooh. I'm sorry. I'm You stare in disbelief at the corpse of one who, if he had been spared just a short while longer, would have been your friend. One despised and rejected, a clown of suffering familiar with pain. They had flogged him and mocked him and spit on him, and then they killed him. You struggle to come to terms with this. While you're doing that, one of the remaining sea dwellers grabs you by the hair and suplexes you onto the ground. Your head snaps back and pain explodes behind your eyes. You are left lying on your back and trying to stay conscious, which is why you have a good view of what happens next. Okay, prepare yourselves for some truly wild fucking bullshit. This shit. In the dark sky above you, something opens, something even darker than the sky. A hole, like a cave in the clouds. It widens until you can see that in the cave, a carousel with wooden horses mounted on brass posts rotates, the horses plunging up and down in time with carnival music played by a mechanical organ. Riding the horses are naked store window mannequins, their legs slung awkwardly over the horses' backs, their stiff arms down by their sides in whatever pose they were created, their horns huge and wildly shaped. In the darkness above the carousel, other naked mannequins with plastic wings tied to their backs are supported on wires, and above them, in turn, a net of white Christmas tree lights twinkle against the roof of the dark cave or circus tent or whatever it is, throwing their dim starlight illumination down on the rotating carousel. As you watch, two of the winged mannequins break loose from their wires and fly down from that dark region in the sky, in the night sky, in the dimension Alternia occupies. They maneuver until the stiff hands on the ends of their stiff arms are underneath Karako, and then they lift him up into the sky and into the dark carnival. Dark carnival? Sorry, I just looked over at chat and I was like, yep. Oh yes, the millions of other tabs that I have open in Google Chrome to talk about after this are all to explain this bullfuckery. You hear a last faint, reviving honk as they set him on one of the wooden horses, and then the hole in the sky closes, and there is nothing but the night sky above you. All is silent and still again. An odd feeling comes over you. You don't think you've ever felt such a feeling. Just the reality of how utterly insignificant you are. Sure, you spent the last few months wandering with no desire but the desire for connection, and you are, in a way, being unique in this galaxy. But honestly, what does that even mean? You flit in and out of people's lives, they're 1 minute, gone the next, always moving from friend to friend. You are, for all intents and purposes, a virtual non-entity, a bland point-of-view vector, a neutral second-person narrator barely coming into the picture, a retiring entity expressing only a simple one-dimensional desire for friendship. Neutral second-person narrator, it's more of this meta stuff, more of this self-awareness of what their situation really is. You know, just how much control do they have? How many different timelines are out there? What's actually happening? Y'all are so confused. I know, it is so fucking wild. Yeah, I'm gonna keep moving, because it just keeps fucking going. But just now, you feel that things have gone pretty far. And just about now, you feel that you've had about enough. Enough of arrogant high-bloods. Enough, in fact, of short-wavelength hemotypes carelessly and without compunction killing and maiming and exploiting those of longer wavelengths, of a survival of the fittest regime that seems to come down to the survival of the most violent psychopaths. Is this a moral universe, or is it not? You ask yourself. Are repulsive cruelty and sickening evil punished in this universe, or are they not? Does an ethical force operate in this universe, or does it not? You don't know the answer to these questions, but you do know one thing. You intend to depart for once from your one-dimensional persona. You intend to punish repulsive cruelty and sickening evil if it comes within your ability to do so. So he's reflecting here. You know, he's getting really fucking existential. Like, this is really, you know, it's affecting them a lot. You intend to create an ethical force field in your local region. You intend to exert some moral gravity right around where you are if you possibly can. And you realize that this odd feeling you are having seems to be drawing moral Higgs bosons out of the moral ground state, and right out of the fabric of this multicolored blood-soaked planet that heaves under your feet. I'm gonna Google... You're shook. Questioning life and its choices. Okay, I'm gonna Google Higgs bosons. Okay, the Higgs boson is an elementary particle in the standard model of particle physics, produced by quantum excitation of the Higgs field, one of the fields in particle physics theory. Something's telling me no matter how many pages I read right now, I'm not going to understand that because I have never studied physics. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's the Wikipedia definition. Okay. You take on the aspect of Clown Sarker. I feel like that's just seeking revenge. This one's very wordy. This is a really wordy route. I'll talk a little bit about why afterwards. We'll go through the credits. I'll show you who wrote it. No definition found. Thanks, Google Dictionary. What about just the word sark? A shirt? Oh, for the love of fuck. Okay, I can't find it. I'm just gonna keep moving. You don't know. Y'all are really, really shaking with this shit. Which, like, understandable. I freaked the fuck out the first time I played this too, but let me just warn you, there is more to come. Seizing 2 cans of inexpensive soft drink from where they fell from Karako's bandoliers, you shake them and pull the pins. Then, with malice aforethought, you direct the twin streams at the sea dwellers. You smell banana and strawberry as the deadly streams play upon them. Already weakened, they fall back with cries under the withering onslaught. As soon as the streams slacken, you take up 2 more cans, shake them, and deal out death to the unrighteous. You smell peach and diet root beer this time. But no pity softens your heart. You wouldn't care even if it were pineapple watermelon you were spraying on these brutes. Which is, pineapple watermelon is apparently a real-ass fucking Faygo flavor, which, what the fuck? You'll see. But these finheads are made of tough stuff. Rallying even in the face of this intense onslaught, they push forward and, seizing some bladed weapons from the purple blood pool, advance upon you. Not one step back. You vow to the memory of Karako Piero. You stand your ground in desperation, grabbing some cans of diet tonic water and club soda and opening up your batteries once again. But to no avail. A trident pierces you to the bone, followed by a scimitar, a tomahawk, a short spear, and so many other bladed weapons that the sheer weight of them drives you to the ground, where your red, precious blood flows in moderate streams, mixing with the purple blood of your proto-friend. This is the end, you realize. But you are glad you died in righteous battle. You are glad you created even the tiny, sputtering, temporary moral force field in your local region that you did. You can feel your life and narrative point of view slipping away, but you are content. Yet what's that you see above you now? A dark space has opened up, even darker than the night sky, and two stiff-looking winged figures are descending. They land next to you and gently place their stiff hands under you. Then they ascend once again, lifting you higher and higher into the darker space. As you pass the boundary of the heavenly carnival, your life seems to revive within you, and as the fabric of the place closes around you and the two stiff mannequins place you on a carousel horse next to Karako, you realize that planets, universes, dimensions, realities, powers, principalities, and cosmos come and go, but friendship is forever. Shh. Friendship. And that is the end of that. Y'all were accepted into the Dark Carnival. I'm gonna have some water and let you have some processing time. Oh, confused screams. Okay, so that was a lot. That was a lot to process. I know. A lot of fucking shit happened in that route. So, temporarily, before we move on to the next... before we move along to the next section, I'm going to double check my Chrome tabs. Make sure I have everything open that I would like to have open, and try and give a little more context and a couple different ways of processing what the fuck just happened. Okay. So. God damn it, Sneak Cat. You're fucking pickle juice. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you don't have pickle juice. That's very unfair. Okay. So. You're getting cake. Okay, cool. So. We'll start here. So, this is, I just like to give a shout out for the millionth fucking time to Optimistic Duelist Discord server. A lot of the information that I gather and kind of, you know, use as like facts, fun facts, and like theories and things within these streams are things that I've kind of gathered from conversations that are had on that server. It's a fantastic place to chill. It's a patron server, so if you got a buck to support Optimistic Duelist, highly recommend it. Also, just watch his videos, they're fucking amazing. So Carnival of Carnage is the debut studio album by American hip-hop artist group Insane Clown Posse, October 1992. Ooh, I didn't realize that. I hadn't read the whole thing. I'm just, this is the most important line. The connection, which is the connection to Karako specifically. The album's lyrics describe the Carnival of Carnage as a representation of the violence that occurs within the ghettos, which takes the form of a traveling carnival to enact the same brutality on the upper class. This tiny little troll enacting that brutality on the upper class. Because there is a member of that server who has been specifically combing through Insane Clown Posse lyrics and Juggalo lore to draw connections between Hiveswap and Homestuck, and there actually are a lot. This is one of them. Basically, what the pattern that this person kind of noticed is that there seems to be an album connection. There's like these, what the fucking call them, like the 5 Joker cards, I think. And they each kind of stand for something, and this whole grand Dark Carnival, I'm not explaining this properly, man, fuck. But, you know, in their Dark Carnival mythos, they each play a role in that. And there seems to be a correlation between trolls, specifically, like, trolls from the Troll Call, and, these Joker cards. So, you know, there's the connection with this album and the Joker card that's associated with it through, you know, enacting the same brutality on the upper class, the way that Karako attacks them, and the way that MSPA Reader is filled with a righteousness to attack as well in, you know, in Karako's memory, right? And when it comes to MSPA Reader being, like, accepted into the Dark Carnival, you know, the kind of theory that came up was that, basically, how do I describe this? By honoring one of their brothers, they accepted MSPA Reader into the Dark Carnival. Yeah, I think I said that. I should have sent that sentence the other way around. They accepted MSPA Reader into the Dark Carnival because he honored one of their brothers, essentially, is the theory. As to whether that was a collective hallucination, a literal physical reality, who the fuck knows? Sky opened up and there was a fucking carousel. Like, it just... But yeah, so there's one connection. This post is a very interesting post that specifically is talking about the Friendsim and the Dark Carnival Insane Clown Posse lore. So I guess I'll just go over this, like, quickly. So the Dark Carnival is quite easily put limbo. You go there awaiting judgment, expecting there's no waiting at all. Haha, joke's on you. Nah, instead you have to face the... Oh, it's 6 Joker cards, not 5. It's, face it, 6 Joker cards, which are just... spirits? Yeah, they're best described as entities that guard the place and judge whether a person has lived a clean enough life in order to go to Shangri-La, aka heaven. These 6 entities bring out the worst in you, but that implies you have a shot at actually redeeming yourself by acknowledging your shit behavior in the past and not falling into making any new mistakes during your stay at the Dark Carnival. What this means in a Homestuck sense is still unclear to me, although there are some links there. They're being very cryptic about it, obviously, and I'm almost impressed to see someone who shit talks ICP so often actually do his homework. Hussey and the writers get a star sticker for being good. That being said, I haven't finished reading Homestuck yet, as I'm also new to that, and I've only been briefly informed on it being like a different dimension in the Homestuck sense, which could be accurate since it's literally limbo. TLDR, Dark Carnival is limbo. The ICP dudes believe in God, but haven't been to church since they were 10, or at least one of them has. It's still unknown about the other. They're just using vulgar stuff to get your attention, then proceed to tell you, hey, eat your veggies, stay in school, don't go to hell, kids. It's slightly religious, and they use a demonic carnival as a judgment ground where souls wait until they go to heaven or hell. As far as the Friendsims goes, and yeah, oh yeah, then inviting corrections. and message me if you want me to ramble about the 6 cards. Yes, the player and Karako have definitely died. No, the Dark Carnival didn't magically revive you both. If it's any consolation, the two of you get to stick together to face your inner demons together. I'd say just avoid it altogether, man. The kid's too young. Too young, I say. The whole imagery of giant winged puppets on strings coming down to pick you and Karako up, only for you two to disappear into the sky into another dimension, just has to be tied to Dark Carnival lore of ICP, where it functions as a limbo type of place. Ending on a sweet note, you've died in the Friendsim before. Hell, you've died in Clown Church, but you weren't taken anywhere. Why is that, you ask? You weren't a juggalo. By going down swinging, using Karako's weapons in his name and his honor, the carnival must have accepted you after all, which is pretty sweet considering it seems to be Purple Blood exclusive throughout the entire story, both Friendsim and Homestuck. Whew. So that, I think, clarifies a lot. I'll pop that link into chat if any of you want to also just look through that person's blog. They made a couple of other posts on the subject, but I'm just limiting it, or limiting this to just the one for the sake of simplicity. Yeah, so let me just, okay. Yeah, so now we're going to take a look back at this image and just peek a little bit at some of the symbolism that's present, because I specifically want to draw attention to over here. Yeah. Wow. Yes. Wow. They really did their fucking research. So this over here, and specifically draw attention to the fact that it is with the shrub suns, you know, the red and green motif behind, the pointy-headed purple blood with big horns, holding, you know, in the little clown thing, holding babies with the shrub symbolism in the back. Callie and Caliborn. Smiling face with the red sun because that is their god. Frowning face with the green sun because of, I suppose it could be connected to the loss of a life, because to like a sacrifice to their god kind of thing. Yeah, and there's the red and green going along the bottom. There's a lot of, yeah, there's like the shrub colors are pretty strongly used in this one. Indeed. Okay, so rolling back over here. So I just thought that that little interlude with that information would be helpful in deciphering what the fuck just happened. So we still have the other ending to get to, and I will start into that now. I hope that helped. I hope that helped a bit in figuring out just what the fuck we just witnessed. But yeah, it's there's only so much you can do. Sometimes you just gotta let it sink in. So, time to snap that other ending up. Grab him by the coattails and try to keep him from precipitating a disaster. You leap forward and grab Karako by the coattails, or by his belt. You aren't actually sure what a coattail is. Jesus, he's strong. You can barely hold him. It's like trying to restrain a small truck. His legs rotate wildly, kicking up a cloud of dust, and he brandishes his bladed weapons wildly in the direction of the sea dwellers. After a startled moment in which they jump backwards, the sea dwellers have started to laugh again, coming up with more stupid insults and fish puns. This is not helping. Karako runs twice as hard, honks twice as loud, and shakes his weapons twice as threateningly. "Hey, hey!" you shout at Karako, trying to be heard above the fracas, holding on with all your might and digging in your heels. You have half a mind to just let him go, to pay the sea dwellers back for their insults, but you try to keep a cool head. You're doing your proto-friend much more good trying to restrain his wrath. You've now succeeded in wrapping your arms all the way around him, and now you get in front of him, holding him back with straight arms, bellowing soothingly into his face and trying to avoid all the bladed weapons he's brandishing. But it's not working! You can see from the contorted features, the bared teeth, the distended nostrils with smoke coming out, the blazing eyes, that Karako is getting more and more enraged. And suddenly, his rage seems to reach a kindling point. His body vibrates violently, his eyes grow huge and round. And suddenly, from his body, something like a nuclear blast pressure wave of fear and violence sends you flying through the air like a scrap of paper in a gale. What the fuck? Are you hallucinating? Nah, buddy, that's them chuckle voodoos. But you can see as you soar up above the path that the sea dwellers aren't laughing anymore. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into razor leaves, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving the stern I'm gonna try that again. I tried to read that whole sentence at once and it just did not work out. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into razor leaves, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving the stern retribution that awaits assholes. Then your head collides with a tree branch, and while you are rendered unable to narrate for a while. Again with the meta. You wake up lying in the dust. As consciousness returns, you realize that you're lying on a path, and as it returns further, that a small clown-painted figure is seated next to you, quite calm now. He smiles fondly as he sees you sit up. Honk! You smile in return. You express relief that he realizes you were acting in his best interests and holding him back from the finheads. And now, though largely because of his unexpected burst of clown sorcery, or whatever that was, Shogavoodoo's, everything has turned out for the best. Karako holds up his arms for a hug, but then remembering the bladed weapons in his belt, sticks out his hand. You shake it warmly. And that is the true good end. You understand things now. Yeah, and once it's very jarring at first. That whole fucking all that shit. It is so jarring. But with especially if you have the zero knowledge of Juggalo culture, it's like, what the fuck? I think especially for anyone playing these who has not also read Homestuck, that is going to be catastrophically mind-blowing. Like, what the fucking shit. But yes, that is that. Ta-da! That's our boy. Credits, as always. Yep, Andrew Hussey directing, always up there. Ash Paulson, Cindy Dominguez. Cindy Dominguez is mentioned in that podcast that I recommended at the beginning, that James Roach interview on the Perfectly Generic podcast. He talks a bit about some other stuff that she's done behind the scenes, and it gives me a little bit more of a vision of what role she actually has in the team, and like more appreciative. Anyway, Julie Dominguez, also there as always. Writers, as stated before, Aisha Yufera wrote Marsti, and we have a new writer, Gizi, who wrote Karako. That's a weird little situation there. Wonder who that is. Well, this post can give us a hint. It's Aisha Yufera's dad, who apparently is a prolific science fiction writer. Aisha got him into the lore, and, you know, he played the games, he got up to date, and he wrote Karako. Which is super fucking cool. That, I think the whole prolific sci-fi writer thing, is would explain why Karako's route is so much wordier than the Friend Sims usually are. Like, it was wordy, like, not just in the context of throwing up weird troll names for things. It was very descriptive. I mean, I'm saying wordy, like, I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I really appreciated the depth of the kind of verbose language that went into it. I really appreciate the amount of care and detail that went into that sort of specificity. But yeah, that's that. So that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Let me just... Alright. Sorry, I'm just preparing my little doc with all my links in it. Okay. Continuing down the line. Character artists. Sorry, is this visual still going? Okay, good, it is. Sorry, I don't know why I felt like it wasn't working again. So, Volume 14 was a new artist named Kim Quach, who I actually have the Tumblr link for. I found her on the Tumblr machine. Here you go. Yeah, so you can check out her other stuff if you'd like. Gorgeous, 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 beautiful, high quality art for the character art for this volume. It was so phenomenal. Karako's expressions and Marsti's as well, both of them just so expressive. The best mindfuck ever? Oh, yes. That is what a practiced sci-fi writer does, and he did it well. Excuse me. Background art, Angela Sham. And ending illustrations, also Angela Sham. UI designer, David Turnbull again. Music! Best fucking part. Okay. So, this is what he called Karako's theme. It's an Aussie image of a chibi Bowsette face. I don't know what I can even add to this. Like, you can see it. You can see it right fucking there. It's... Yep. Okay. I can't add anything to that. Marsti's theme is also a James Roach original, as I mentioned at the beginning of her route. It is called Service Car Neutral Edition. Yep. That is it, folks. Fucking James Roach, honestly. I mean, like, I have a strong appreciation for him. But that just... God damn it, James Roach. Okay, Mint Chipley for game design and programming, Sonia Crawford for quality assurance as usual, Creative Commons bullshit, and we're done. Oh my. Yeah, Bowsette, indeed. That was... Remember that? Remember that happening? This Friendsim Volume 14 came out a week and a half ago, which was roughly around the time that Bowsette as a trend was like starting to die down. So that decision was probably made when it had exploded all over everything. But I mean, as we all know, James Roach just loves to push the limits of picking weird fucking song titles anyway. So why not just make it an assy face of a 2-week internet trend? Fuck it. Alright. Wow. Okay, 1:30. We're half hour overtime, but we have been worse before. I feel like, as we get later and later into the Friendsims, they get longer. I know that I took there were a couple of parts where I took some time to speech out some, exposition on different background facts and that sort of thing. But, I mean, that total time was probably only like 10 or 15 minutes. So, like, yeah, because we've been consistently running overtime with these Friendsim streams. But, speaking of Friendsim streams, this one is, it's done, baby. We are finished here. So, this Friday, 2 exciting things. First of all, Volume 15 comes out. What? The rumored name, which I'm trying to find right now if Discord would load on my phone. I believe it's of creatives, conventional, and otherwise. Let's see if I can load up. Yes, of creative, conventional, otherwise. I did remember correctly. So that is the next one coming out on Friday. Very exciting. So that will be next Wednesday's stream. Next Wednesday's bonus stream will be Hiveswap Friendsim Volume 15 of creatives, conventional, or otherwise. And this weekend, we got a milestone going on. Last weekend, holy fuck, we finished Homestuck streams. Holy fuck, that was a whole year those were going on. But weekend streams are not ending. We're just starting something new. Hiveswap Act 1. Combing through Hiveswap Act 1, clicking on a whole bunch of items and shit, digging up that lore, making connections between Hiveswap and Homestuck, because the universes do intertwine a heck of a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It is gonna be some real good shit. So I hope that I will be seeing you all there on Friday evening, same time, same place. I have been replaying Hiveswap this week to prepare myself for it. I also intend to do a little bit of reading, a little bit of watching, doing some research to refresh my mind on all of the different connections, theories that are popular, lots of different things we can talk about during stream. I also need to sit down at some point and, I mean, I will try Googling translations for the Alternian, but quite frankly, I'll probably end up sitting down and doing it myself. Just because I like to have the assurance that I did it myself and I know that I did the correct translation. Time to use the bird on everything. I know. Myers, my boy. Yeah, how, basically in terms of, clicking on things with items and like that sort of thing, I'm not going to be doing too much fucking around with that myself. My plan for stream format is basically just, be playing through the game. I am going to click on individually everything in the environment that can be clicked on, but in terms of item combinations, that's mostly going to come from viewer suggestions of combinations to do, unless there's a specific combination that I know gives some interesting exposition beyond just, oh, haha, these items interacted. Like there's a specific one combination that gives some more exposition on Joey and her relationship with her mom. So, you know, there's things like that. But that's mostly just going to be viewer suggestion. So, anyway, I've been rambling a while. It's 1:30. Still haven't done my physio exercises for today, so I gotta go do those before I go to bed. Yeah. Hiveswap Friday. Be there, motherfuckers. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey tonight. On this mindfuck of a journey. I had a wonderful time, and I hope you did too. Fingers crossed. I will be seeing you all on Friday. Have a lovely rest of your day, whatever you may be getting up to, and good night.